Even more than a decade after she vanished, Ayla Reynolds hasn't been forgotten. From Bangor to Kittery to Waterville, the toddler's smiling face is etched in the minds of people all across the state and even the country. It seems every year that passes, there are more and more questions. Did her father really kill her? What did police miss? But most importantly, where is she?
Police are still.
Our team has gone through every piece of reporting since December 16th, 2011. The day 18-month-old Ayla Reynolds vanished.
Ayla meant the world to me.
Just want my daughter home.
And the story.
Nothing points in that direction.
Still.
Just look me in the eye so I can see her.
Just doesn't quite make sense. It all started on a brisk Saturday morning in the small city of Waterville, Maine. Justin DePietro called police just before 9 o'clock
911, what's your emergency?
to say his daughter was missing. He was at this house on Violet Ave with his girlfriend and his sister. He claimed he put Ayla to bed the night before, and when he woke up, she was gone. The little girl, just 2 feet 9 inches tall, 30 pounds, with blonde hair, last seen wearing polka dot pajamas with the words "Daddy's Princess" written on the front. Within just hours, the search for Ayla was on.
20-month-olds go missing in our area. I feel like it's part of our duty to go ahead and help any way that we can.
Community members, police officers, firefighters scoured the neighborhood.
We're checking everything in the culverts and outbuildings and trying to get the neighborhood to help us out.
All in the hopes of finding Ayla alive.
How do they account for not seeing her for 12 hours and reporting her at 8 in the morning?
She was in her own bedroom and everybody went to bed.
Hours turned to days. For Ayla's mother, Trista Reynolds, every minute felt like a lifetime.
I guess I just want to I want to pick her up and I want to hold her. And I just want to tell her she's going to be okay.
4 days into the search, she and her father spoke to the media for the first time.
Can't sleep, I can't eat. I mean, I'm crawling out of my skin, not knowing what the hell is going on.
I want to see her face, I want to see her eyes, I want to feel her touch, I want to tell her I love her, and I feel like I can't protect her right now.
She said she had cared for her daughter since birth, but a few months before the disappearance, Trista had to deal with personal issues, so had her sister take care of Ayla. Then the State Department of Health and Human Services got involved, ultimately granting custody to her ex, Justin DePietro.
Agreement was that if he took Ayla, if I let him take care of Ayla for the time being for me to get back on my feet, he had to live with his mother because I thought it would have been the safest place for her to be, and I was wrong.
But the search continued. Wardens and volunteers looked everywhere. The nearby Messalonsky Stream was drained so that a plane could search from above.
Our focus here is to find Ayla.
Waterville Police Chief Joe Massey said they received more than 100 tips. Upwards of 75 officers were working on the case, but still no sign of Ayla.
This is a missing child case as it stands right now. And until it would develop into anything else, that's how we're treating it.
The biggest question, what did Ayla's father know? What wasn't he saying? His silence only adding to the mystery. Then finally, after 4 days, he shared this written statement. I have no idea what happened to Ayla or who is responsible. I will not make accusations or insinuations towards anyone until the police have been able to prove who's responsible for this. But did he? And what exactly happened in the 13 hours from when he put the toddler to bed to when he called police? Next, it did not take long for this story to hit the national airwaves, and Trista Reynolds didn't hold back from going public as the case turns into a criminal investigation. Ayla Reynolds was first reported missing from a home in Waterville, where she was staying with her father, his sister, and his girlfriend the night she disappeared. And after hours of searches turned up nothing, it was becoming more and more clear the little girl wouldn't be home in time to open presents. Christmas, a time meant for celebration, was not the same for people in the small Maine city of Waterville.
We ask that you might be with the police, the fire people, the game wardens,
as they searched for a glimmer of hope that would bring this little girl home.
I think that hope is the one thing we all hold on to, that we can look forward to and know that if we hope and we look ahead, there will be a good resolution.
Where is baby Ayla?
Within just a couple of weeks of Ayla Reynolds' disappearance, her face was everywhere.
She goes missing.
On TV screens across the country. Police saying they believed she was abducted. And now the FBI was part of the search, a $30,000 reward up for grabs.
I ask and I plead that the person or persons who have young Ayla Reynolds, that they please keep her safe.
The intensity, the pressure, was nothing the community or the state had ever seen.
Someone took Ayla out of that house, and the circumstances surrounding that we are not sure of. We simply don't know what happened.
And while investigators continue to search for answers, Ayla's family was searching for blame.
Conducting an exhaustive
Her mother, Trista Reynolds, appeared on the Today Show.
Tried to call him. He has not responded to your calls. Have you tried to get the police to act as intermediaries to create some sort of dialogue between you two?
Yep, I've asked that question, and they tell me that it's between me and him. Like, it's on me and him to contact one another. He's the only one that can answer some of my questions. You know, like, we have a daughter that is missing. We used to be able to get along all the time. Just talk to me. That's all I want. Just, he was the last one to see her alive. Like, just talk to me. That's all I want. Just talk to me.
Just 2 days later,
I put her to bed and just a normal night.
Her father, Justin DePietro, did the same.
This is our first chance to speak to you publicly. Can you give us a sense why you're coming forward now?
The first few days I was emotionally incapable of coming out to do an interview, and I had been advised that by coming on and doing an interview by law enforcement that it could possibly hinder the investigation. By coming on here, it was in hopes of reaching out to the person that does have my daughter and to let them know that what you're doing isn't right. You may think what you're doing is right for Ayla, but it's not. You have no right. You're not her parent. She belongs home with her family.
But even Ayla's family didn't believe Justin was innocent, and they wanted to know what happened in those 13 hours, from when he says he put the little girl to sleep to when he called police.
Somebody knows something. You can't tell me that you don't. You can't tell me that you don't know where that little girl is. You're the father. You're responsible for her.
That's why the spotlight didn't stop shining on Justin DePietro, and it only got brighter. Then finally, some good news. Word online was Ayla had been found 50 miles away in Lewiston. The only problem, police said it wasn't true. It was just a rumor. There were no new leads.
Questions whether Justin
But for the first time, we
mistreated
heard from
Ayla.
Ayla's grandmother,
Suspicious about
Phoebe
a son's
DePietro,
past she
on
had
national
her left
television.
arm the night-
It is a very creepy feeling to think that somebody had been casing your house.
She said the night Ayla vanished, her son, his girlfriend, and her daughter were over for a normal night of hanging out, and that her son had nothing to do with it.
Please, just bring her back.
So who was lying? Who was hiding? Was anyone telling the truth? Police said both Justin and Trista took polygraph tests, but the results were never shared. Search after search, dead end after dead end, it seemed police had nothing. Then, there was the blood.
When we were gathering evidence inside this home for about a week and a half, there were hundreds of pieces of potential evidence that was taken. Among them is blood that we found in the basement. The crime lab continues to work on that evidence to determine whose blood it is and the quantity involved, but we do find that very troubling.
And it didn't stop there. What police did not find among that evidence was any sign someone came into the home that night and abducted Ayla, like Justin DePietro said.
What we have been told is obviously someone came into that home, grabbed Ayla, and vanished in the middle of the night. But at this point, we have not found one piece of evidence to back that up.
Now every person in the house that night was a potential suspect.
We have 3 adults inside that home that night, and we don't think we're getting the full story as to what happened. We think they know more than they're telling us.
Since the start of the search, police said the family was cooperating. It's clear now that wasn't the case. Next, how much blood was found in the basement? Why wasn't the family telling the whole story?
Look at me, Justin, look at me.
Charges change everything. After weeks of investigation and no answers in the search for Ayla Reynolds, police confirmed a key piece of evidence found in the home from where she disappeared. And it was more and more clear their focus was turning to Ayla's father, Justin DePietro. 6 weeks after Ayla Reynolds disappeared came signs, maybe, just maybe, this house where she was last seen held answers. Answers to questions everyone was asking.
What we have been told is obviously someone came into that home, grabbed Ayla, and vanished in the middle of the night.
But based on the evidence investigators found, that wasn't adding up. State police now said there was nothing to show someone came into the home and abducted the little girl from her bed, like her father, Justin DePietro, had claimed.
The story doesn't pass the straight-face test.
And while they found no signs of an abduction, what they did find was shocking.
When we were gathering evidence inside this home for about a week and a half, there were hundreds of pieces of potential evidence that was taken. Among them is blood that we found in the basement. The crime lab continues to work on that evidence to determine whose blood it is and the quantity involved, but we do find that very troubling.
Not just for Justin DePietro, but his girlfriend and his sister.
We have 3 adults inside that home that night, and we don't think we're getting the full story as to what happened.
Just one day later, in a bizarre change of heart, both Justin and Ayla's mother, Trista Reynolds, came together for the first time for a vigil for their daughter.
Here because I want to thank everybody too that has been searching for Ayla, but I don't have the answers that you guys are looking for.
Before her ex arrived at the vigil, Trista was asked about the new information and the blood.
Do you really want to know what my reaction is?
Yes, I do.
Really? You really want to know? I'm ready to go knocking at people's doors myself because I want to know what happened to my daughter and I want to know where she is and who took her or just whatever, like everybody else does. My reaction is I'm still trying to concept the fact that blood was found of my daughters. That's my reaction.
As for Justin, he wouldn't comment, leaving members of his family fighting to defend the swirling allegations he was to blame.
My heart believes them. It's just something you have to hold out hope for. And I know the emotions are real. When I see them, I'm hurting.
As weeks and months passed, search after search turned up nothing.
I'll be candid, it's been 48 days. Our concern grows every day, but we remain hopeful that we're going to find her.
Divers combed the nearby Messalonsky Stream. Volunteers went all over the city. Even billboards went up across the country, begging anyone for answers. It was all starting to take a toll.
The length of this investigation has also been incredibly expensive for law enforcement. Between state police, Waterville police, and wardens, they have put in $100,000 in overtime searching for baby Ayla.
The leads are still coming in.
And 5 months after Ayla vanished, police delivered the news we all feared.
I think it is highly unlikely that Ayla Reynolds will be found alive. Nothing points in that direction.
Trista and her family allowed news crews inside their home while they watched the press conference on TV.
He knew!
It changed everything.
Knew, Mom!
And that they've taken this opportunity to share that news with the public.
The man killed my baby.
I want everybody out there to see the pain that this family has endured. Because you, Justin, and your family have not come forth and said anything. You haven't done.
And as months turned to a year, and still no sign of Ayla. In September of 2013, Justin DePietro was charged, but not for his daughter's disappearance.
Look at me, Justin, look at me!
He walked into the Portland police station on assault charges and violating terms of release. He was confronted by Trista Reynolds and her friends, now begging for answers from a man who refused to talk.
Tell me no!
And outside the courthouse, it was clear the tension between the two families was reaching a breaking point.
I am Ayla's grandmother, and I believe she's alive. And I am her mother. Yes, and believe that she's alive, and tell us what you did with her.
All this anger and frustration, bad blood among people who were responsible for protecting this little girl. So while police were saying there was no hope in finding Ayla alive, there was still the need for closure for her family, the community, and the state. Next, how Trista Reynolds tried to keep her daughter's memory alive as Justin DePietro fled the state, and what one judge's ruling could mean to hold someone accountable. It felt like every year that passed, hope was fading. Would they ever be able to find Ayla Reynolds' body? Would they ever be able to hold someone accountable? With police seeming to get nowhere, her mother, Trista Reynolds, took things into her own hands.
What do we want?
Justice for Ayla!
When do we want it?
2 years after Ayla Reynolds went missing, people gathered again.
No justice, no peace!
Not to mourn, but to demand answers.
It's time for answers. It's been 2 years too long.
State police insisted the investigation into the little girl's disappearance was still active. But Ayla's mother, Trista Reynolds, said she wanted more.
I want them to do their job. I want closure. I want answers. I want to see arrests made. I want closure for Ayla. I want to bring Ayla home.
Year after year, event after event, news story after news story, search after search. Nothing changed. Until 2017, 6 years later, at Trista's request, a judge finally declared Ayla Reynolds legally dead. The judge ruling her time of death on or about December 17, 2011, when she was last seen with her father, Justin DePietro. Hi, Phoebe. I went back to the home in Waterville the day of that ruling, where Ayla was last seen with her father, his then girlfriend, and his sister, Alicia. I confronted the DePietros directly for the first time in years.
Don't have anything to say about her disappearance.
For legal reasons, we didn't use audio. Alicia DePietro said she refused to believe her niece was dead. She claimed her brother and family had nothing to do with Ayla's disappearance, and she had no idea where Ayla was.
Nothing happened that night.
Then Ayla's grandmother, Phoebe DePietro, accused the media of wanting to convict them, saying no one knows what we live with. As for Justin DePietro, he fled the state and was nowhere to be seen or heard from.
Justin, hi.
Then, just a few months later, he was confronted by a reporter with the TV show Crime Watch Daily in California.
I was just wondering how you're coping with that.
Not very good.
Do you think it was from someone that you know or a stranger?
Yeah, someone that, I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you
Could
think
we meet at another time? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Justin hasn't been seen publicly since, but that didn't stop Trista from trying to hold him accountable for their daughter's death. Now that Ayla was declared legally dead, it opened the door for her to file a wrongful death lawsuit against him.
Thank you for coming.
Her lawyers holding a press conference in the snow just days after what was the 7-year anniversary of Ayla's disappearance, hoping to reignite a case that was turning cold.
We're trying to find out how Ayla was killed, why she was killed, and where she was killed. And to do that, we intend on taking the depositions of many of the people that were involved in this matter.
The only problem, Justin was nowhere to be found. Trista said she hadn't talked to him in 6 years. So she shared this message.
I wonder if our daughter haunts your dreams or if you see her blue eyes when you close your eyes at night. I wonder if you even think about that night you murdered her.
Justin DePietro and his attorneys have denied any wrongdoing, and he still insists Ayla was taken from the home that night, even though police say there's no evidence of that. Next, while the fight to hold someone accountable continued, it would become more clear for Trista Reynolds that justice takes time, and she was nearing 10 years without her daughter. Ayla Reynolds vanished from a home in Waterville more than a decade ago. We covered every development, every anniversary. It was a lot of fits and starts and dead ends. And on the 10-year anniversary, we went back and asked the question, what now? They say time passes, changes, and even heals. But in this case, it only created more questions. Ayla Reynolds went missing more than 10 years ago from this home in Waterville. She was staying there with her father, Justin DePietro, his girlfriend, and his sister. DePietro told police he put the 18-month-old to bed on the night of December 16th, and the next morning, she was gone.
The focal point of the investigation, Ayla Reynolds.
Large-scale searches for Ayla.
On the 10-year anniversary of her disappearance, Waterville Police Chief Joe Massey said it's a case that's haunted him from day one.
This is one of several that, you always say to yourself that you'd like to see it solved.
Overnight, he, a cop from a small city in Maine, found himself in the national spotlight.
It's very open. No conclusions at this point.
And it didn't take long for the massive search for Ayla to captivate the world.
The Ayla Reynolds case was the largest criminal investigation in the history of the state of Maine, and it had a significant impact.
But there's no one it impacted more than Ayla's mother.
This year just seems to be a lot harder for me than most years.
Trista Reynolds telling us on the 10-year anniversary she still feels the pain, the emptiness. She says the last Christmas season she spent with her daughter was here at the tree lighting in Portland. Now she has to go through yet another holiday without her little girl.
So every year I will stand out here and I will tell her story and I will tell my story because maybe it could save the next one.
Well, years have passed. One thing hasn't changed. Police still say the people in the house that night know more than they're saying.
We still feel that they do have more information that could help us.
At the Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit, Lieutenant Jeffrey Love says they're still looking for answers.
And we've worked on this case diligently since day one. It's open and active.
They've gotten hundreds of tips over the years, and they're still coming in. Back in 2011, a key piece of evidence was blood found in the basement of the home. Police say was in fact Ayla's. But none of this has been enough to close the case.
And every piece helps give us a picture of what took place. The blood obviously is an important piece of that. But we know at the end of the day, we only have one shot at this. And for us to take that step forward too early, it's not going to bring the closure that the family needs and deserves.
Ayla was legally declared dead by a judge in 2017. Not long after, Trista Reynolds filed a civil suit against Justin DePietro to try to hold him responsible for their daughter's death. That lawsuit has expanded to include his mother Phoebe and his sister Alicia. The hope is that it will finally get someone to say what happened.
I'm going to keep fighting and I'll keep sharing her story because our story, Ayla's story and my story, will save someone someday. I know it will.
So it's been more than a decade since Ayla Reynolds' disappearance. The criminal case is still active, but the fight for justice in the form of that civil suit continues to go back and forth in the court. So we may never know where Ayla ended up, but we do know she will never be forgotten. Ayla Bell Reynolds, reported missing on December 17, 2011. Just 2 feet 9 inches tall, 30 pounds, with blonde hair. Last seen wearing polka dot pajamas. A 20-month-old with still so much life left to live. I'm Zach Blanchard. From all of us here at News Center Maine, thanks for watching and take care.